Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to the Spirit Bubble, where we talk about all things spirit and life and positivity related that just helps us all. Yes. Oh, Kara.
And Alma.
Yes. Last time, we talked about introducing about spirit guides,
Yes, we
and
did.
just kind of a little recap. Spirit guides, they can be very communicative with you, or they can be silently in the background. They could be what you may think of as angels, your higher self. They could be your loved ones or your pets that may have passed and have stuck with you in life. They may be deities and lines of pantheons, maybe, that you work with, possibly. The possibilities are endless, honestly.
Tons of different ways they can manifest. And it's a personal
Absolutely.
relationship that you have with some aspect of the divine, right?
Yeah, it's your communication to the divine in other ways, other than just yourself and the spirit alone, I suppose.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, but the question is, how can you communicate with them? How can you interact? And how can you honor them in the way that is most proper to you and them? Right?
That's a good
now,
question.
now, you probably don't have a whole lot, because I remember you saying that mainly it's just you living in your spirit, right? You don't really do like a lot of direct mind talking, right?
Right, right. It's just me feeling like I'm kind of doing my own thing. I don't know that I'm in direct contact with any spirit guides, but so I honor the divine, love it, live happily, and that's how I honor it.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know of a direct relationship with a being apart from the divine itself.
Right, right. And as for myself, while yes, I do have a connection to the divine, I also have connections to at least two known beings in it, which is what has created my balance. I have my light and my dark, and this is my balance, you know? So I love and I accept them both. But the thing is, talking to your guides, if you know that you do have a guide, or you suspect, or you want to start to try to create that connection, one of the biggest things that you can do in order to establish that is basically treat it like a friendship, right? Step one is reaching out, because what would you do for a friend in need? You would reach out, right?
Right,
Or if
right.
you wanted to establish a friendship with somebody, you would talk to them first, right?
Absolutely.
So this is really kind of the basic beginning of how you can really start to establish that, because it's like building a friendship, except it's like your invisible friend, essentially. You have to talk to them. You have to be willing to stop and listen to them. You have to be willing to ask questions to look for signs of their answers.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
I can, and I bet that's kind of a process to come to trust in that relationship enough to talk to it, to lean on it, to look for it to guide you, because that's a step in trusting in the divine to lead you to where you're meant to be. And so that would take some time to get to that
Yeah.
kind of place, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's like the process of putting your trust in the divine. You have to put your trust in them too. So, how do you do that? You let yourself be open and you build that relationship, right? When relationships build over time, the trust becomes stronger.
That makes sense.
Right. And so, a lot of times, ways that you can use to communicate, you can use prayer, you can use thoughts, you can talk out loud, because it's like when you communicate with the divine, no matter what method you use, you are heard, right? So
Absolutely.
let's say if you sent a prayer, like if I sent a prayer to mine, hey, dear such and such, I'm looking for help and blah blah blah, I'm essentially creating that base communication that says, I trust you and I want your help.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically just like talking to another friend. Um, Sometimes you're going to find that in that communication, they slowly let you know little things about themselves too, just like a person would.
Oh, wow. That's got to be cool.
Yeah, you get to know their likes and their dislikes. You you eventually get to know the reason for them being in your life. I know one for me is to help me deal with just life itself, physical life. And the other one is to help lift me so I can reach my goals into becoming a guardian in the sky. That's my goal. I want to become a spirit guide for somebody. I want to guide people. I want to guide somebody.
That's beautiful. I love that.
So one for me is meant to be able to keep me grounded and be able to help me live my life. And then the other one is to be able to help me live in my spiritual life. So it's like above and below.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it took a lot of talking and it took a lot of trusting and it took a lot of realizing that they were real. They were in my life for a reason, and it was just building that bond, such as making offerings. Because, I told you honoring, right?
Hmm.
Well, you can't just be like, uh, oh my gosh, you're here to help me. So I want this and I want this and I want this and I want this. And if I don't get it, then I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to listen to you. You can't do that. You
Right.
have to show gratitude.
I think that's a very important aspect of spirituality, gratitude. So that makes
Mm.
perfect sense that in that relationship, in order to keep it moving forward, you'd have to practice gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to practice communication. You have to practice gratitude. You have to practice trust with them. That's why I say it's basically like having another relationship with somebody.
Right. It does feel that way.
Oh, very much so. I mean, because even though you may not be able to see them or touch them, they're still very real aspects in existence in your life.
Absolutely.
So it's just, especially once you have those surreal experiences, it becomes harder to deny that.
hmm I can imagine.
Yeah. So, do you feel like you've ever had any experiences where you, like looking back from now, that you may have realized that you were communicating with a guiding
Well,
spirit?
when I think back, like in my mind, it's like I'm having a conversation and there's not a voice in my head, but there's a presence that's there that's guiding
Mm-hmm.
the conversation. So I'm not talking to myself, but there's something there that as I go through my days, I'm conversing with someone, something greater and different than who I am. So I've never thought to ask a name or to put
Yeah.
a
Like an
specific
identity.
entity. Yeah, no identity to it. But I've
Yeah.
just come to trust that conversation because it leads me to greater insight and perspective than what I feel I could do on my own. So yes, I do feel like I have that communication and trust with an inner guide that's there with me. So
Right.
while I haven't personally identified with a being specifically, I
Yeah.
I I would say maybe, yeah, thinking about it now, I do communicate with something,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I I mean, and that's something I constantly talk to. It's in my presence all the time. So
Yeah.
it's always there guiding my moments, and I trust it innately. It doesn't lead me wrong, and it's always there when I need it. So it's I have a lot of trust in that relationship that I've built on the inside.
Right. Absolutely. And it even, since our last conversation, when we were talking about reasons we may or may not necessarily actually hear them, um, I actually kind of reflected back and I thought about, well, what if the reason why I'm actually hearing is because I'm actually more clairaudient than I thought I was? You know?
Right? That very well could be, right? You may be
Maybe.
gifted and you just didn't realize it.
Possibly. So, I mean, for whatever reason, it is what it is, and no matter which route, whether it's the route where you don't really, like, you're speaking to a presence, or my route where I may, like, actually be aware of somebody, we're still communicating, and that's really the most important thing, is that communication, you know?
hmm Absolutely. Like you
Yeah.
said, it's that relationship that you have that you're nurturing and growing with. And so it becomes very important in your day-to-day life, in your
Yeah.
spiritual journey.
Yeah. Now, another thing that is actually really going to be able to help boost your communications and your relationships with these beings is, like I said, is honoring. Giving gratitude and showing it through honoring them. And there's so many ways that you can do this. Some may just simply want you to live in the life that they're leading. And as long as you're living in that life or that lifestyle or guiding in that path, essentially it's like your way of honoring them, because the biggest thing is that they want you to be able to live in the things that they're teaching, you know. So
That
the
makes
biggest
sense.
thing you can do is listen to them and trust them and follow the guidance and show that in your life on a day-to-day basis.
Right. By integrating that which they're showing you, and
Yeah.
that honors them by the respect you show their guidance.
You're right. It's like they're offering a cookie and you can sit here and eat it and, oh, thank you so much. You can be like, I don't want that cookie. Don't give me no more. Like,
Right?
yeah. Like, I mean, which one would just be so much more respectful? Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I did not know that I needed this cookie.
Yep. I think that's the one you want to go with.
hmm Now, there's also like a lot of different tools that we can also use in order to honor them as well, just to show them that we are expressing our thankfulness and we're keeping their energy welcome with us, whether it's in our home or with us. Some of them might like certain crystals and stones. So
Okay.
carrying it in their honor. Sometimes I'll carry a jade with me because I feel like, in a sense, that's honoring my light one.
hmm
Like that little boost of energy saying, hey, I would love to be able to obtain, more of this.
Okay. Yeah.
And then another two major common ways is you can either light candles or you can light an incense.
Oh, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Have I was thinking building an altar or
Mm-hmm.
some kind of dedication to that being that shows like a physical presence in your home or office
Yeah.
or special place that kind of dedicates a living representation of that
Yeah.
spiritual guide.
It kind of encompasses their energy and keeps it near you when you're at home.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's absolutely another very common way. Like, if you look at altars, you will find altars for so many different beings and so many different names. And, like, you can customize it based on what you have, or if you think you know what you need to get, that would be best appreciated. Basically, like a gift to them.
hmm
Um,
Absolutely.
you can use that. You can use altars as like a gift to them to say, thank you. Here's a home in my home, you know.
Hmm. But then I think it's very important to say for those of you that might not have the extra funds to get the crystals or the build an altar, it it doesn't have to be physical. It can be with your heart that you build
Yeah.
the altar to your spirit guide because the journey is building this relationship and it doesn't have to be a material
Oh,
dedication to
yeah.
them.
Yeah,
So I
materials. Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, yeah, materials don't necessarily define the relationship. It's how you use the tools that you have.
Absolutely. How do you use what's put before you? How do you make the most of it? And that's what I think the real gift is.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I love to light candles for mine, and then sometimes I'll use the incense. I don't use the incense like a super lot because of the fact that, like I don't want to like have smoke in the house all day.
I understand that.
But candles is a major go-to for me too. Like I actually have one. Let's see. I lit one right here.
Oh, yeah, you did. Look at that.
Yep. I don't want to tilt it too much because I don't want to ruin the wick, but I lit one right here. And you know what, Alma? A lot of times, actually, what I will do is when I'm getting ready to do a video with you in order to share knowledge with the world, I'll light one
Oh, I like that. You're
as
lighting
like,
a candle to light up the world.
yes, as like a, uh, please help me share the wisdom, share the
I
wisdom
like
that I
that.
need to share.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So yeah, I have that lit right now, and I just happened to go ahead and keep it beside me because I felt like if I'm over here on the computer and I'm trying to do this video and I'm trying to share this wisdom that like maybe they may want me to put out there, I kind of want it close.
I like that. That's really cool.
Yeah. Did you have any questions like about like the experiences or
I guess how did you first come to realize that you were having a spirit guide manifesting in your life? Like, what did it feel like for those that may be questioning if they have one in their life? Like, what were the signs? What were the understandings that you started coming to that led you to the realization that yes, you do have a spirit guide?
right? For the biggest thing, I would say I had to be very aware of the signs because, like, they will send you signs of their presence. Whether it's through, I know one common one is repetitive numbers. Um, Sometimes you might see a certain themed image repetitively, or you might run, like, for example, I work at a bookstore, so there's like hundreds, thousands of titles on the shelf. Like, so many titles on the shelf. And it just happens to be the one that I stop and I look at, and it just so happens to align with, ooh, something. Ooh, this aligns, right? And it starts
Okay.
to click together, right? Pieces start to come together, and then you find another piece that happens to align, right? And I'm like, oh, wow, that's kind of ironic.
Okay. I think of those as synchronicities where things just line up and they make all kinds of sense in the moment and you couldn't have aligned those yourself if you had tried. And it's just like,
Yeah.
wow, the universe is talking to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so ironic too that you actually say that because I would say, minus seeing the signs that led me to the identities of them, the first biggest thing that happened to me when I realized I was communicating with someone or somebody is I used to go outside under the stars and I talked to the stars.
Okay. All
And
right. So you were already comfortable with having outward conversations with aspects of the divine.
mm-hmm, yeah, in a
Okay.
sense, I was talking to the divine and those that were sent to me within it without even knowing it. I didn't even know I was talking to the divine. I All I knew was I was going outside and I was talking to the stars and I got answers.
That's pretty magical.
Right. And I knew that there had to be some specific identities that were being sent to me in some way or some time because sometimes there would be one particular star that I just got strong feelings about. It's like it was watching me all the time. Every single time I went out under the stars to meditate, it was just this one star that was just eyeing me the closest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just been a whole journey of communicating with that, and then after the whole meditation under the sky and realizing that there are specific voices that are trying to come at me, and then starting to send the signs in the physical world to me, you know?
Oh, wow. That I could see how that would kind of lead you down the path and follow to your spirit guides. Like it would
Mhm.
just start lining up to make more and more sense.
Mhm. Yeah, they use that process, you know, it's like coming to a slow conclusion. So many pieces of the puzzle start coming together, and the more of them that click together, you start to know. It's like, oh.
See, I like that because it's the funny thing about faith and trust is that you don't get proof. Like so many people want to see something tangible before they'll believe in anything. But this, it leads you down the road so that you'll find the proof you need in your own way. It's not something that's just going to blindly be a sign that says, "Hey, this is your proof." But along the way, you'll find the signs and the clues and the little synchronicities that really add up all together to be like this
Yeah.
big thing that's like, yep, I believe. I trust in this now.
Yeah. And it's once you see those puzzle pieces that all lead to one thing, it just becomes kind of an undeniable thing that just makes you just know.
Right.
So,
I I believe that.
yeah. And it's different for everyone. You know, some people are told blatantly, some people are told through their curiosities and research. You know, like if a certain name has popped up into their head and they're like, wow, for some reason this feels really important. And then going and starting to do researches and they see things and the information that they gain from this and realize how much it synchronized in their life. And then the more synchronization that you see, the more that you realize, wow, this name, whatever's attached to this name, is actually a real element, you know?
Right. Right. That's it sounds like an awesome journey and I hope
It's interesting. It definitely is assure you that you're never alone. So,
that's a good feeling. I love that feeling.
yeah, for sure. So, guys, if you guys have been seeing any kind of signs towards somebody and you know, like a deity or a pantheon or any kind of relationship with any kind of being or presence, you know, don't be afraid to chase that. Don't be afraid to research it. Don't be afraid to keep your eyes and ears open to see if it really meant anything. Because, you know, the more that you see it, the more you're going to realize that it really was something important to you.
I agree. So just have that faith to know that maybe you're meant to see more than what's just there for all of us. There's something
Right.
beyond. So
Right.
lean into the experience and journey and
Yeah.
keep your eyes, ears, mind, and heart open.
Yeah, and then once you realize that there is something real there and you really start to lean on it, don't be afraid to build that relationship. Don't be afraid to just ask, hey, what should I do today? You know, or look, whatever, whether you pray or look to the sky or whether you just think it in your head, be like, hey, blah, 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 what should I do today? Because you never know. As much as you can, the more that you talk to them, the more that you show appreciation, and the more that you show the trust, the better that relationship is going to be and the clearer things are going to be to you.
I totally agree.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we're hitting 25 minutes now though, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. I would love to hear about your experiences, like who you've communicated with, who you've created relationships with. How did you discover them?
That's Yes, we'd love to know. Leave it in the comments, like and
Yes.
subscribe, and join us next time.
Yes. Until then, y'all have a great day.